Hi, welcome to the ASMR Sleep Clinic. How are you? Wonderful. And can I get your name? Okay. And how familiar are you with the phenomenon known as ASMR? Okay. Well, I'll go over the definition then, just in case. So, ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. So, some examples that most people are familiar with is when someone whispers in your ear and you feel kind of tingly, or you might get it from visual stimuli, such as if someone kind of puts their hand up close to your face, or sometimes you might get it from light triggers, such as this. It's also fairly common for this to happen in personal attention scenarios, such as at the doctor's office or places like that, where you feel a sense of relaxation when someone is doing something up close to you, such as if I was to brush the hair out of your face, or perhaps feel your forehead to see how your temperature is. So that might make you feel relaxed or tingly. We often call it the tingles. So if someone makes a sound and it makes you feel a certain way, we call that tingles. And things like this, like my notebook here, or writing sounds, if they make you feel the tingles, you would call them a trigger. It might have been GBASMR that coined that term trigger, but I'm not entirely sure. I would have to look that up. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to provide a handful of triggers, and I will ask you how relaxed you feel after experiencing them. Great. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and tell me how you feel with each one, okay? Awesome. Well, to start off with, I have been doing some triggers as examples and as I'm taking notes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed would you say you feel at this very moment? Okay. And so far in our session, would you say that you have experienced tingles? Great. Well, we have lots of triggers to try out, so I will get right to it. So, this is my friend Gary. This would be an example of, I don't know what you'd call this, kind of a clicky trigger. But I know a lot of people like these. Look at his little eyes. Wonderful. All right, now that you've heard that trigger, on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed would you say that you feel? Okay, and would you say that you have felt any tingles during this session? Specifically from that last trigger. Okay. Thank you. All right, now let's move on to my next trigger. So this trigger just came in, so I'm going to take it out of the box first. All right. So this trigger is a little bit more complex. There's a few things with this one. So first of all, these are ice globes. So there are liquid sounds with these ones, and then they also have these nice little I'm not sure what you'd call it, but they have these that come with it. So there are some kind of sticky, styrofoamy sounds that come with it as well. And they also are glass. So you can hear the glass clicky sounds, or some people like to tap on glass. You'll find tapping is very common in ASMR. I'm hearing some sounds outside from my neighbors. Alright, so now that you've heard my second trigger, the ice globes, how relaxed would you say that you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Wonderful. And with that trigger, did you feel any tingles? Alright, well, we have lots more triggers, so let's continue. All right. So, another branch of ASMR sounds are sticky sounds. So, we talked about that a little bit in the other trigger, but this one, there are some balls that stick together. These are actually glow in the dark as well, so you could use them for light triggers. But today we are just exploring the sticky nature of these. And with balls such as these, they also make some nice sounds when you squeeze them. This is why many people use sensory objects or squishy balls for ASMR as well. So if this is something you enjoy, there are lots of other options for ASMR that are very similar. It's also nice to rub sticky triggers on your hands, as you can hear the hand sounds as they stick. This is also a new trigger that we had delivered recently. Wonderful. Alright, so that was some sticky and squishy sounds. On a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed would you say that you are feeling right now? Okay. And did you feel any tingles during that trigger? Wonderful. Alright, so the next trigger is close-up whispers. Close-up whispers. So, like I said, this is a very common trigger that people experience in childhood. When you're whispering with your friend or playing games like telephone. It is the most common form of ASMR that children experience, and is the most common way that people first experience ASMR. So you can just listen to my whispers and let me know if you feel relaxed. Many people will also speak at different speeds when whispering. So some people like to whisper slowly, and repeat words. It's best if it's unexpected. So if I repeat a word here and there, it can be extra relaxing. Some people also like unintelligible whispers. It's kind of hard to speak nonsense sometimes when you're not used to it. Alright, so with that specific trigger, on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed do you feel right now? Okay. And did you feel any tingles or other feelings during that trigger? Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to go back into soft speaking now. It can be kind of jarring if you're not expecting it, so just letting you know I'm going to start doing that right now. Alright, so my next trigger is a crinkly trigger. So for some people, crinkles can be a little bit too strong. But for some people, they can be extra tingly. And we also have some clicky, clacky triggers with this one. Sometimes with triggers like this, you just have to be a little bit more delicate in how you hold it and how you interact with it. All right. And I have one more crinkly trigger. So this one is a roll of parchment paper. So again, this can be a little bit strong. So this is used for cooking normally, but it does provide some nice sounds. Alright, so those were the crinkly triggers. On a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed would you say that you feel right now? Okay, and during that trigger, did you experience any tingles? Wonderful, and do you have any other feedback so far? Okay, thank you, that's very helpful. All right, so moving on to our next trigger. This trigger is coasters, or cork, or deep tapping. As I mentioned, there is a lot of tapping in ASMR. All right, so that was the coasters. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed are you feeling right now? Okay, and did you experience any tingles during that trigger? All right, perfect. Now on to the next one. So this trigger is more of a personal attention trigger. I also just like the sound of the comb, but it's very common for people who enjoy ASMR to watch haircut role plays. So I will not be cutting your hair, don't worry, but I will be replicating the sounds that you hear when you get a haircut. For some people, that can be extremely relaxing. So I'll comb my hair a little bit. a lot of people also enjoy hair brushing. So this is kind of a bonus with this trigger. Alright, so now I will just use the scissors and make some sounds by your ears. But again, don't worry, I will not be actually cutting your hair. Okay? Some people also like to use the scissors for plucking and snipping. So pluck, 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 pluck. Seems I've got a little bit of pen on my palm. Ignore that. All right, that is all for that set of triggers. All right, so with that set of triggers all done, how relaxed are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, and at any point during that set of triggers, did you experience tingles? All right, on to the next one. Okay, so this next set of triggers is often accompanied by personal attention roleplays as well. Usually you would see it in videos such as eye exams or cranial nerve exams, which are a couple of my personal favorites. So this one is light triggers. So often ASMRtists will use a light trigger, and they will just pretend they are checking your eyes out. So if you could look at my nose, I will be bringing this in and looking at your eyes. Wonderful. And then will you please follow the light for me? Wonderful. And now, can you look up for me and I will shine the light just below your eyes. Wonderful. And now look to the left, please. Okay. And to the right. And now look down. All right, wonderful. And if you would close your eyes, I will scan your eyelids. Zoom. 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 Wonderful. Wonderful. And let's follow the light one more time. Okay. And also accompanied with the light in eye exam videos, you'll see things such as look at my nose and let me know when my fingers come into view. Wonderful. So this is again a type of personal attention role play or doctor role play where I am testing your peripheral vision. Wonderful. And I'm going to wiggle my fingers over here. So I just want you to tell me when you see my fingers wiggling, okay? Good. 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 Wonderful. And often people will wear gloves for videos like that. So there are also nice glove sounds. As you can see, there are lots of variations in those type of role plays. So you can always find one that fits what you're looking for if this is something that helps you feel relaxed. All right? Okay, and can you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed do you feel after that? Wonderful. And did you experience any tingles? Okay. As I said, that is one of my personal favorites. But again, there are so many variations that some things you'll like more than others. All right, so we have a couple more triggers. One of my personal favorites are book-related triggers. So I've always been a big reader, so things like this can help me find my next book to read, but also give me that kind of nostalgic feeling that I associate with reading books, especially now that I do a lot of reading on my phone. Hearing these book sounds can just feel really refreshing and relaxing. So often during book videos, they will also talk about books that they're reading, what they like about them, the general plot point, things like that. So in this case, this book is called This Cruel Design by Emily Sufada. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This book is the second book in the series. The first book was called This Mortal Coil. So I read that book. As you can see, it says a Mortal Coil novel. I read the first book in the series a couple weeks ago, and my sister-in-law gave me this second book to continue with the series. And this is about a dystopian world where a plague has taken over, and I'll spare the gruesome details. It's a little bit of a gruesome plague. So there's a little bit of a warning there. But the focus of the book is on finding a vaccine for the plague. And so we follow a girl whose dad is the doctor who wrote the vaccine, and she's trying to decode the vaccine that he left. There's also some added complexities where a lot of the world is in underground bunkers, but our main character doesn't trust the people who run the bunkers, so she has stayed away from them and is living on her own in the woods. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but it is a fun series so far. I really enjoyed the first book. There were a lot of different plot twists and surprises. So as you can see, I'm tapping and just kind of scratching the book. But we can also open the book up. It's a nice sound when you open the spine. And then you can also just flip through pages. I like to do them like this, but also flipping one at a time can be very nice. And since this is the second book in the series, the synopsis or the introduction does give away some plot points, so I won't read that. But it's very common in book ASMR to read maybe the first page or a random piece of the book, or the synopsis inside the cover or on the back cover, that sort of a thing. It's also kind of fun if you are interested in genetics. As you can see, there are the letters in DNA, the GATC letters, and there's some kind of fun things where it talks about there being messages coded in DNA and things like that. So it's a fun book. But again, there are some violent parts, so just a warning there. Alright. So my last trigger is, oh, I forgot to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, after the book, how relaxed would you say that you are feeling? Okay, and did you experience any tingles during that trigger? Wonderful. All right, so the last trigger is a little bit messy, which is why I saved it for the last. And this trigger, again, can have many variations. In this case, I am just using some moisturizer that I have, but people will often use lotion, oil, shaving cream, any other liquid, face masks, things like that. And it just creates some nice sounds. And sometimes it can be used to make sounds like somebody is applying things to your face. Maybe should have used actual lotion, but so sometimes people will go like this, pretend that they're adding it to your face, and then they'll add layered sounds of the lotion so it feels like it's actually happening. Of course, since I'm in person, I won't be able to do that, but you can imagine. And sometimes too, if you have lots of lotion, you can make kind of heavier liquid sounds or sticky sounds. Again, in this case, my moisturizer isn't quite making those noises. And sometimes it can make some bubbly sounds as well. Oh, goodness. I've forgotten I have another trigger too. Alright, if you'll excuse me, I'll be right back after I wash my hands, okay? Wonderful. Alright, so now that you've heard the lotion sounds, on a scale of 1 to 10, how relaxed are you feeling right this moment? Okay. And did you experience any tingles during that trigger? Alright, wonderful. Okay, so I do have another trigger. So another set of triggers that many people will do are fabric triggers. So you can do this with lots of different things. You can do this with clothes, patches of fabric, blankets, towels, and you can do this with a variety of fabrics as well. In this case, this is a pillow. So with this particular pillow, since it is stuffed, you can make sounds like that, where you're kind of squeezing or squishing it. And then you can also scratch the fabric. And with this specific pillow, there's also a zipper. And sometimes too, if you rub the fabric together, it can make some nice noises. Wonderful. So, with that pillow and the fabric sounds, how relaxed would you say you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, and did you experience any tingles during that trigger? Oh, wonderful. All right, so a lot of these triggers, as you can see, have some variation in how you can use them or produce sound with them. And another one that is pretty easy to do just by yourself because it doesn't require any actual props or anything extra, as long as you have hands, are hand sounds. And this can be used in conjunction with personal attention. So sometimes I might do some up close hand movements or visual triggers, and then I might make some hand sounds similar to the plucking and snipping I did earlier, and similar to the lotion. So one that is very common are finger flutters. I believe that might have been a creation by GB ASMR as well, but again, I would have to double check that. So finger flutters are just rubbing the fingers together to produce fluttery sounds similar to a butterfly wing or to butterfly wings. And you can also rub your hands together and some people even do nail tapping. And again, if I wanted to do plucking and snipping without, I might go like this. Without scissors, I might go like this. It's also very common for ASMRtists to make noises with their mouths rather than actual props. So in this case, I might go snip or snip. It really depends on the ASMR artist. I'm not the best with sound effects, so I wouldn't typically be doing that. And sometimes the hand movements in themselves can produce a relaxing effect without any need for additional sound triggers or auditory triggers. Wonderful. Now that we've done that, how relaxed would you say you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Wonderful. And did you feel any tingles during that trigger? Wonderful. Right, and it was so nice having you today. I hope that you have found some triggers that work well for you. If you come back in the future, you can call ahead and let us know which triggers you did or didn't like, and we can combine those with some additional triggers. It's always fun to mix and match and try out some new ones. So again, just let us know ahead of time and we'll prepare for you next time. Alright, we'll see you next time. I'll probably put this at the end of the video, but I did want to say that I created a Patreon account. This is my first time doing this, so let me know if you have any feedback. For now, it's mostly just to help support the channel. So basically, you'll have access to my Patreon feed and any posts that are specifically for Patreon members or patrons. So it's just $5 a month for now. Let me know if there's things you want to see, such as a list of all the patrons' names at the end of my videos, or maybe saying your names out loud in a video. I've seen things like that before. Anyway, so it's just kind of the start of it now, but I've had a few people ask for ways to support the channel. We are also really close to monetization. I think we just need the watch hours up, so Anyway, definitely do not feel obligated to give anything to my Patreon. Just watching, commenting, liking, interacting is so helpful for me. And honestly, I'm just so grateful that anybody's watching my videos. So,